And that's AM Business here this week on the AM Show. Remember, AM Business is proudly supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Now, let's get talking about a subject that, well, what can I say? Let me introduce it this way. So, anesthesia is a drug administered to patients before an operation to make the area of surgery numb. That's the common one that we all know. But there are stories related to anesthesia that sometimes causes anxiety to patients. If you haven't had a surgery before, well, you hear plenty stories associated with that. So as my guests, get comfortable, we want to bounce some questions off them before they tell us about their society, really, the reason they're on the show this morning. So let's get some clarification on anesthesia in terms of the drug. But before that, let me introduce my guest in the studio, Dr. Fred Osei, consultant anesthesiologist, with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the department there. Thank you very much for joining us here on the show. Alongside him is Dr. Sandra Adams-Sala, who is a medical officer, also with the Department of Anesthesia, the University of Ghana Medical Center. That's where you are. So good morning to you both.
Good morning.
And welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. So before you get down to tell me about your society and what you'll be observing in the next few days, I thought we will clarify something that's on all of our hearts. So here are some questions that will be on the screen shortly. I think I have about 6 questions.
I'm ready for
ask you. Okay. So let's move to the next. Let's move to the next question straight away. Can anesthesia wear off before surgery is over?
Yes, this is something that can happen, but it rarely happens. Reason being that when we are anesthetizing the patient, we are always monitoring the patient's heart rate, their blood pressure, what they call their oxygen saturation. We're watching to look and see if the patient is moving or not. These are things that can let us know whether anesthesia is working or is wearing off. But as the surgery proceeds, there are drugs that we administer to the patients that keeps the patient still sleeping. So it's very unlikely that the anesthesia will wear off before the surgery ends.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. Let's go to the second question, please, Patrick Gomez. And let's get the doctor to clarify. Is the risk of anesthesia less if it is a minor surgery?
Well, surgeons will define surgeries as minor or major, but for anesthesia, we treat every patient the same. We take it that this is a patient that's going to be anesthetized. We have to make sure that the patient is well put to sleep, that the patient experiences no pain, and that there are no side effects after the surgery. So depending on whether it's a minor surgery or a major surgery, the anesthesia will always be the same, because the principles are that you have to make sure that the patient is safely anesthetized and recovered after surgery.
Okay, here's question number 3. Can adverse events during surgery be attributed to overdose of anesthesia?
Oh, not really. As I explained before, sometimes when surgeries are taking place, the anesthetist is always monitoring the patient. Now, some things may occur due to the results of the surgery. There may be a complication, but it's just for the anesthetist to be aware of the complication and then just manage the complication. But it's rarely due to overdose of anesthesia. The anesthesia, the drugs that we're given, we monitor them very carefully, and they're given in carefully titrated doses. Okay.
Question number 4. Can spinal anesthesia cause back pain?
I'm very glad.
Especially linked to pregnant women.
I'm very glad that you asked this question. It's when a patient is going to be having a spinal anesthesia, what happens is that we inject a drug called a local anesthetic, which just normally numbs your body from below your belly button, and all the area becomes numb. We do this type for patients who are going to have fibroid operations, if there's going to have a delivery of a baby. Now, we inject using a small needle. It's a very tiny needle. Now, this needle that's used is not likely to cause any pain after the surgery, like 1 week or 2 weeks, but patients get a perception that because there's been an injection at the back, any pain caused is due to the needle. But I can tell you that this is very unlikely, but it's a very common complaint by, yes. So usually when this happens, then we ask the patient to go and investigate and see if there are any other sources of their back pain.
Okay, here's my final question, number 5, to you, and here it is. Should the anesthesiologist leave the operating room after the surgery begins?
Well, I don't know.
Sandra wants to take it? Okay, all right.
Okay, should they leave? No. But most of the time, sometimes there's a case going on. Somebody has to step out for whatever reason. No matter what it is, there should be somebody monitoring you because, like he said, we monitor the person throughout the surgery. So even if the prime person who maybe past the spinal is not there, there definitely should be someone on standby who is watching you, making sure everything is okay.
Okay, all right. Now that you've answered all of my questions, I know that it's an occasion for you to tell us more about what you do. But I also want to just steal a bit of the time and ask our viewers, because I've asked these questions, I know that there are other questions that bothers people. So if there are questions that you want to ask, I'll dedicate 5 minutes of the time so you can give us a call, and I'll announce the lines shortly. So just be watching and listening to the conversation. So first of all, can you also tell me, are you doctors or are you like, how is your area of specialty like? Explain it to the ordinary person like myself.
Yes, when you started, you had a definition of anesthesia as a drug given to numb in a specific area. Okay, that's a simplified term. You know, basically when you talk about anesthesia, you're talking about rendering a patient unconscious with loss of sensation and lack of movement for surgery, so that the surgeon can perform the surgery. This was how anesthesia initially began, but we have now moved into different fields. We're now involved in pain control. You'll see that the anesthetist is also involved in the management of critically ill patients. And then we have cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. Anesthetists are also involved in the management of those kind of cases, especially if somebody has a cardiac arrest and you want to help and try and revive the patients. Now, this is where the Ghana Anesthetist Society gets involved here. So we are an umbrella group of physician anesthetists in Ghana, and we have over about 500 members, and these are all doctors who are training to become anesthesiologists.
So it's an area of specialty?
Yes, an area of specialty. Yeah. Now, you may hear me using the terms anesthetist and anesthesiologist interchangeably, and so people get confused there. So originally, anesthetist was a person who gave anesthesia, and this was usually a doctor. But there were training of nurses also to give anesthesia. So to form the distinction, we have anesthesiologists who are doctor anesthetists. These are people who have gone through medical school, have had specific training in the area of anesthesia and perform anesthesia for complex surgeries. Yes, and they are termed physician anesthesiologists.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. I had one by the last question that I asked, because my anesthetist, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, well, we understand what
okay, it was by me like throughout, and she tried to have conversations with me during the surgery when the gynae was doing her thing with the nurse.
Yes.
So she was by, but I know that people don't have it like that. Not everybody experiences it like that. But are you everywhere in all the hospitals across the country? Because you say you are only 400.
Yes. So I can tell you that when anesthesia first started in Ghana, there were not many anesthetists available to practice. It's only recently that there's been more training. In fact, this is why our society is celebrating our heroes. And we have a Facebook page where we have been talking about the heroes of anesthesia, those who preceded us. Professor.
In Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, so Professor Ojo and then Professor Dorothy Fox-Crab. These were the first early anesthetists back in the 50s and 60s who trained abroad and came back to Ghana. And then they trained subsequent specialists who also came and trained people like me. And subsequently, we have Sandra here being in training too.
Yeah. So can I, just on that, can I ask Sandra how the journey's been like?
Okay. So for me, I chanced into anesthesia for my house job, my 4th rotation in house job. And it was, I just knew I was home. When I joined, everybody was so friendly, and it was a specialty I was so interested in. And I'm still in trying to train, of course. I'm still in training, and it's more than I can imagine. It's amazing. It's always everybody's family. Everybody tries to help you, and there's so much adrenaline jumping up about it, doing things. So I love that about it.
Yeah. So I've had a. Hey Charlie, me too. So the next question, and I don't want to personalize it. Who says I haven't had enough of the drug, or the drug is wearing off, or it's worn off? Like, is it for me, the patient, to alert you and say that I feel the pain? Because the whole idea is I shouldn't feel what you're doing. But if I begin to feel it, who listens to me?
So it depends on the type of anesthesia you're having. As I say, we have general anesthesia and then we have regional anesthesia. General anesthesia, your whole body is put to sleep. But with regional anesthesia, just a specific area. So in fact, you're there able to communicate with the anesthetist and hear what is going on. Now, as you said, sometimes it may happen that the surgery is taking longer than expected. And also, human beings are all different. A drug that was given to somebody that may last for 45 minutes or last for 1 hour, and somebody may just last for 20 minutes. We can't necessarily say
this was a dental one.
It's a dental one. Okay, so if it's a dental one, that one I can tell you, that one you had it under local anesthesia. So what is likely is that the dental surgeon would give a local anesthetic and inject it around the nerve which supplies the tooth that is going to be operated upon. Yes. So this is supposed to last for some periods, but I don't know how long the surgery took. Sometimes patients may complain that they're actually feeling the pain when they are not feeling the pain. They're just actually feeling uncomfortable. So not that the drug is worn off or anything like that. You're just feeling uncomfortable. So you're thinking that, oh, the anesthesia is going off. And then sometimes too, the anesthetist has to explain carefully to the patient what is going to happen. For example, for a regional, though you may not feel pain, you may actually feel them touching you. It's a kind of really odd sensation. Sometimes people say it's like getting an electric shock, sort of, because you can feel someone tickling you, but you won't feel any pain. You won't feel any pain. But as I said, all human beings are different. There's some patients that the drug may be wearing off. But in the general anesthesia, we're always monitoring the patient, so it's very unlikely that this would happen.
To add to what he just said, one other thing that we would look out for is that your vital signs will always tell. If somebody is in pain, their BPs usually shoot up, their pulse will shoot up. The person tells you, I'm in pain, and you actually see it on the monitor that, yes, the person actually is in pain, no matter what you think you've given. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, back onto your day, and why, because it looks like you're deliberately making the effort for Ghanaians to pay attention to what you do. Why are you doing that, particularly this year?
Yes, so the society has been around since 1996, but we recently decided to make it more active, to make Ghanaians be aware of what anesthesia is. Now, Ghana is a country we're developing fast. We want to try to be a middle-income country. That is our goal. And if we're going to have people coming to Ghana, investors coming, they're going to want to have the very best of healthcare. So if indeed something happens that they may require surgery, we want to have an anesthesiologist that's going to be capable and a surgeon available. Now, many people don't know about anesthesia because our job is to make you forget about us. We put you to sleep, you're not going to remember, that's it. So sometimes it happens that I meet a patient, I say that, oh, I anesthetize you, and the patient will tell you that they don't remember. My job is to make you, but that's fine with me. My job is to make sure that you don't remember anything about surgery and you wake up pain-free. So that's why we are highlighting about anesthesia, and we want Ghanaians to know all about anesthesia. In fact, that's why we are calling ourselves unmasking our heroes. When people are wearing a mask, you can't really see who they are. But when you take the mask off, then you can see that this is the person behind the background who's making things work. And the surgeons really appreciate the anesthesiologist.
Yeah. Sandra, did you have many others training with you?
I started off in Kolebu, and there were so many others who were interested. In UGMC, we are fewer because we've now started, our department started not too long ago. But it's coming. The new crop of people, we seem to be more interested in anesthesia. A lot of my friends are going into that field.
Okay, does it also bring more money?
Well, we're on a GHS structure, so we're all doing the same currently. For me, it's just the passion. It's so beautiful to be in the theater, to be in the ICU. For me, that's my goal. Yeah.
Okay, also run us through the series of activities that you'll be having.
Yes. So today, we're starting with media engagement. We are going with all the various media houses. Articles have been written. We also have a very active Facebook page. You can look for it's Ghana Anesthetist Society. That's Ghana. And we have Instagram and Twitter. So basically get Ghanaians aware. Then tomorrow in the morning, we're going to go to the various children's wards at the hospitals, 37 Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Police Hospital, and Princess Marie Hospital and Greater Accra Regional Hospital, just to visit the kids, spend some time with them, share some toffees. Then in the afternoon, we have a public lecture, which will be at Villa Boutique. It will be streamed online on our Facebook page, just talking about anesthesia, labor analgesia. It's a good and pain control. We're going to have professors from the United States of America. We're going to have a local colleague here, Dr. DeGraff Johnson. They're going to give a lecture all about anesthesia, especially in terms of pain control. And then on Friday will be our official launch of our day. We'll have a webinar and then World Anesthesia Day celebrations. Okay.
So children, once you mention children, do they also get the same dose, or maybe not dose, but do they also go through the same, when they have their surgeries, is it the same for them too?
Yes, so children, we have a very specific area of anesthesia called Pediatric Anesthesia, where you're just dealing with children and they're to be anesthetized. Now, children are different from adults. You know, the sizes of their hearts, their blood pressures are different, and they have to be handled with care. And also, a child is very precious to the parents. So you get parents who are very, very anxious about the surgery. Children, they can't communicate to, especially if they're just babies. And sometimes we even operate on babies who are just 1 day old or 2 day old. They require surgery. So it has to be a very careful type of anesthesia given for these. So most of the time, what will happen is that a child is anesthetized by a very experienced anesthesiologist. In fact, in the United Kingdom and United States of America, only a consultant anesthesiologist who has had at least 5 to 10 years experience with children would anesthetize a child. Yes, because children are very, very precious, especially, yes.
Yeah, okay. Now is the time, if you've got questions for them, based on an experience or something you've heard, you want them to clarify, kindly give us a call now. 0302-211-69102, 0302-211-69102. And this is just in 5 minutes, so it has to be like now. Okay. So, you know, you mentioned the fact that sometimes you hear that something is happening. When I had my first surgery, the CS, it felt like they were uprooting the baby. But I felt comfortable because I had my anesthetist by me. And so and she would talk me through, like, how are you feeling? What's the... So I would say it each time, and I knew I wasn't in danger, but it was my first time. It was very scary. I thought I would feel the cut, or like you feel some sensation. Yeah. It's not pain, but just having her there, you know, helped me, and you know, that kind of thing. But there was also somebody who didn't go through. So she wanted the vaginal birth and had gone through the phases of labor. So she was already in pain before they did the surgery. And I was told that when you do that, the pain is like double or triple. Do you recover? Is it a quicker recovery if you only did straight surgery, or if you went through that period, or that kind of... I'll let you clarify that, but there's somebody on the line now. Hello, good morning. Oh, Johnson. Hello, Johnson from Akosombo, right?
Yes, please.
Okay,
yes, please.
All right, sure. Johnson, let's hear you. You're on air.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please.
Johnson, go ahead.
Thank you very much for enlightening us on this wonderful occupation. I just want to ask them, how does one become an... Hello? I want to ask them that how can one become an anesthetist? Because I just have passion for that profession.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Johnson. And I see the problem. When you call us, kindly lower the volume on that television set and speak to us through the phone. Let's hear from John. Good morning, John.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, I had a surgery, and after the surgery, I was breathing through the nose. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether I was intubated or something. I don't know what. So it took me so many hours to come out.
Okay. So you're breathing through the nose.
Yes, breathing through the nose and the mouth.
Okay. So which parts of your body went numb during the operation?
Hello, again.
I was asking the parts of your body that went numb
No. You see, I did a strangulated hernia. It was a hernia, but I was giving general anesthesia.
Okay. All right. Sure. Okay, John. Is there any clarification?
Yes. So the person wants to know how you become an anesthesiologist. So a physician anesthetist is trained, has 6 years medical school training, and then 2 years internship, where they come out as a doctor. Now, when you want to specialize in anesthesia, then we have a program with the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, where they'll be training for 3 years, where the person, after training in a teaching hospital, becomes a specialist anesthetist. And this is the training that Sandra will undergo.
Okay.
After that training, you can do another further 3 to 5 years, specializing in a specific area like obstetric anesthesia, intensive care medicine. We have cardiac anesthesia as well. And then you become a consultant anesthetist after that training. That's when you become a fellow of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons.
Okay, great. We'll come to John's question, but I've got Nanaya from Bemakam. Good morning, Nanaya.
Good morning, Nanaya.
Nanaya, apologies there. Thanks for joining us. Let's hear you.
So, I had a surgery, and in the middle of it, I came back. I came back. So, I had someone telling me, relax, and there was an injection, and then I went off again, and I came back after the surgery. Everything was over. So what happened? Was the anesthesia low, or they couldn't just tell when the surgery, the length of the surgery before giving the anesthesia?
Okay.
I really want to know.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you. We will put the question, well, they had it, they will address it. But let me talk to Richmond. Richmond is in Adabarka. Good morning, Richmond.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your call.
My question is that what will someone who has studied anesthesia become a doctor as well? I want to find out that. And then secondly, how will someone prefer, like, be trained if you want to really be involved with pediatric anesthesia? How will it be, and then what will the training also be?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Richmond. Sandra, you're still in training, right? So please take note of all the questions. Opoko is in Kumasi. Opoko, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. You're on air. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my sister was going to have an operation and was given the anesthesia, as we were talking about. As soon as it was given, the doctor went out. Went and spent about hours. When the doctor came back, the drug has already finished working. The doctor wanted to operate straight. My sister was saying no. She was feeling the pain. Instead of the doctor to give another, there was this misunderstanding between us and the doctor. And it wasn't easy. So I don't know, how long does the drug work on the person? If my case, the doctor left and came back, should the doctor have given another anesthesia or what? I want to know about that.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Great question. Thank you for sharing.
Right.
Eve is in Akosombo, and I think Eve will be the last call that we pick so we can address all the questions that have come through. Eve, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Let's hear you.
State their salary from the normal Ghana.
Hello, Eve, could you kindly speak up for us? We're losing you.
Okay, I would like to know if they take their salary from the normal Ghana service, like the health sector salary structures.
Okay.
Why I'm asking so is because a nephew had a surgery at Kolebu. We were asking a 230 Ghana to the anesthetist, which we have to see to that effect. So I was like, do they pay them separately from what the Ghana Health Service pay them? I just want to have a clarification on that.
Okay.
Because
all right.
we pay the anesthetist before the surgery was done.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. It looks like we have to pick one more call. Anthony from Jai in Kwanta. Anthony, good morning. Hello, Anthony.
Good morning.
Yes, Anthony, good morning. Let's hear you.
I'm listening to you. Thanks to the doctors for educating Ghanaians on anesthesia. And indeed, today is our day. And want Ghanaians to appreciate what we do for them. Actually, our job is simple. We have the license to kill and wake. So we want them to appreciate.
You have the license to kill and wake?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so kudos to all of them. And again, it's not only doctor's line, but nurses can also be trained to become an anesthetist. Thank you.
All right, Anthony, where do you work? Where is your facility?
St. John of God Hospital, Duaya Nkwanta.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations to you. We're honoring all of you. So happy to talk to you. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Sandra, let's start with your work now.
Okay. So a lot of people seem interested in finding out how you become an anesthesiologist or anesthetist. So for, like he explained previously, we have physicians and we have nurses who anesthetize people. We are dealing more with the physicians because that is what we are. For the physicians, you have to go through medical school, the same channel every other physician is. Anesthesia is a specialty. So like somebody will become a surgeon, somebody will become a physician, like internal medicine, somebody will become a pediatrician. That's the same way. You go through the 6 years of medical school, then after you graduate, you do your 2 years of house job. Here in Ghana, according to our laws, that's what you do. Then after that, you write your primaries, you come to the training in a teaching hospital. So for the first part, the membership is a 3-year program. So after the 3 years, you write an exam and you become a member if you pass through. Okay. Then, like to become like Dr. Say, you have to go further. Yes, please. You have to go further. You have to do another 3 to 5 years to become a fellow of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. So we are all doctors. Somebody asked that, are we also called doctors? Yes, we are, because we are doctors. And if I could go to another hospital, let's say I'm doing my locum or something, I could give you your BP pills, I could give you your malaria treatment.
You'll be a GP,
I can do all those things, yes. Okay. We are doctors.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so the next, I think we can answer Eve now, because Eve has a specific experience at Kolibu.
Which was
the paying extra.
Yes, became more and more. Yes, you know, all those experiences that people were talking about, I feel that they all had regional anesthesia. Because if you're giving general anesthesia, there's no way you would wake up or remember anything that happened. Now, so with regional anesthesia, as I said, we number an area of your body, but what happens is that sometimes some patients are very anxious. They think something is going on. So we can give you a sedative. And so this sedative will keep you nice and calm and relaxed. In fact, some people sleep. So when the patient wakes up, then they think that the drug has worn off and that the anesthesia has worn off. No, it has not happened. What has happened is that the sedative has actually worn off, and you think. But there's no way that an anesthetist would allow a surgeon to operate on you whilst you're feeling pain, because it goes contrary to all the ethics of our profession and my training.
Okay. Yes. So the person who asked, who talked about the doctor leaving and coming back later, how long do you give yourself for the drug to be effective before the operation begins?
Yes, so when we give our regional, we always check to make sure that, that the drug is working. Now, depending on the type of surgery, if it's going to be an hour-long surgery, there's specific doses of drugs that we give. But as Sandra has also explained, we are always monitoring and seeing what is going on, so we can always know what will happen. Now, I can't say that 100% we are gods that 100% of the time a patient will be totally anesthetized. We are all human beings. We all have different characteristics. So sometimes what works for one person may not even work for another person. So if the patient had that bad experience, I apologize on the...
But when you go to complain, now that we know that there is a society, if you have an encounter like that, who do you go to? Who listens to you?
Well, we have Ghana Anesthetist Society. We have a Facebook page now. We want to try and create awareness. So patients who have experiences like this, they can contact us. We have a page on Facebook, right? We have an email address to gasghana@yahoo.com. You can email us about your experiences so that we can bring all these things to the awareness of our members. Sometimes our members are not aware of these kind of things that happen. So we're always happy to explain. As I said, we are not gods. We cannot do it all. Yes.
Okay, yeah. There was the Eve question specific was paying extra. So that's why she was asking if you also get paid from the same source as all the doctors. So is Ghana Health Service paying you so that if a patient comes, can they pay the anesthetist separately, an extra cost, or how does it work? Sandra,
okay.
you want to say something?
Yes. So we are paid by the Ghana Health Service, or paid by the same structure that your hospital has. I would, in case the person is in a private facility, and so you should technically not be paying something extra. In any hospital, especially in teaching hospital, there's a mandate that is around, and everybody knows it. Anything you pay for, take a receipt. So if you're going to give me extra money and I can't give you a receipt, then that means it's probably not right.
But I think sorry to interrupt. She was talking about Kodabu Teaching Hospital. For anesthesia, there are specific things that you have to pay for going to attending a pre-operative clinic where we check patients to make sure they're fine before surgery. And then surgery itself, the drugs that are used, equipment that is used also, and the consumables. All of these things are paid in a separate anesthesia bill. But this bill is an official bill which they will pay for and get a receipt.
Get a receipt.
Yes, so that has, as for, we are paid by the government of Ghana as members of the Ghana Health Service.
Those who work in the
So I think that's maybe what she had to pay. And she was thinking, so it's not coming directly.
It won't come into anybody's pocket.
Okay. Yeah. Sandra, I gave you a piece of work. Have we addressed all the questions that came through?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Someone asked, he was interested in how becoming an pediatric anesthesia. And it's the same thing.
That's the one
you
that
go through the same
I think
process.
there was a gentleman who was complaining that when he woke up, it took him some hours to recover.
He said he was breathing through his nose and his mouth.
Yes. So I think this person had general anesthesia where we put you totally to sleep and we keep you asleep with a gas. Then you get a tube put down your mouth into your lungs, which helps with a machine called a ventilator, will help you to breathe. And I'm sure that's what happened to this patient. At the end of surgery, we switch off the gases and take this tube out. So when you wake up, you will be very, very drowsy. Yes. And it may take you some time for the gases to wear off your system. This is something that we try and educate the patients about before we put them to sleep. So that's why the gentleman, but as in real life, we normally breathe through our noses and our mouth. Yes. So it's not anything. And patients form a full recovery. Nothing really happens.
I think there was one more person who said she got knocked out, came back out.
So I think that patient had a regional anesthesia and was given a sedative just to keep her calm and asleep. But the sedative wears off after some time. So you may wake up, and then we can give you again. So before the surgery starts, sometimes we ask the patient, do you want to sleep or you want to be awake listening? Some patients are happy for you to communicate as like what happened in your experience. Sometimes some people are like, I just want to sleep. I don't want to know anything that's going on. So we can give you a drug called midazolam, and that will put you to sleep. Okay, but the midazolam is not the anesthesia. The anesthesia is the spinal that we gave to you when you were lying down.
Okay, I asked the question of, is it double the pain if you went through labor before the surgery?
Well,
how can you quantify the pain? You felt the labor pain.
Some people will scream, others won't scream.
Yeah, but you felt the labor pain. Okay, so that is one pain. The second pain, that is what the C is. We are trying to stop you from getting that pain. So that is our job. So we can't quantify and say, oh, this one's pain was twice or this one was more than the other. Because you may pinch me and I'll feel it and I'll be like, oh, it's just a pain. I'll pinch you and then it's all over. So we are different people.
Thank you for allowing us into your world. At least there are faces through it, which is very good. Yeah. But now that your theme is unmasking the heroes, can you just take your mask off so we can see you? If I see you in the operating theater, then I know that is you. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for your time here on the show. We hope that you've enjoyed this conversation. Stay with us. We're talking about the 2020 JoyNews Habitat Fair, which we're doing in partnership with EcoBank. And our guest today will tell you how you can pretend that you're paying rent, like you're renting somebody's house, but eventually that house becomes yours. Even when you begin making the payment, is your own house, except that you're paying rent. And after a certain period, you can move in. And then it becomes yours. You can also be a homeowner. What is most exciting is that you don't make any bulk down payment. You're not paying any 50,000 or 30,000. It's very little. And we will tell you how you can be part of this. Just stay with us.